Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Dylan here. We have a major update today from Jim Jordan that you don't want to miss. He just came out and exposed the truth about everything going on right now, and he's giving a huge new update on everything that is going on and teaming up with Trump to expose the truth. So we're going to dive into all of this, but before we do, we're going to read scripture and pray because God comes first. Amen. So comment amen down below if you believe that God comes first. But he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly about my weaknesses, so that Christ's power may rest on me. Amen. So leave the word amen in the comment section down below. And thank you to everyone who has begun investing in the stock market. So many of you have messaged me saying that your investments are up thousands of dollars. We are now running a 90% off sale on the Invest Like Trump program. The link is below, or you can type in thefinanzone.org. And when you sign up, you will get up to $1,000 in bonus stocks inside the program. Okay, my friends, let's tune in to Jim Jordan, guys.
Welcome back. The White House Government Transparency Task Force releasing new documents into the origins of the Russia collusion scandal this week. The declassified records showing the FBI opened an investigation into then Attorney General Jeff Sessions one day after President Trump fired FBI Director James Comey over claims Sessions made false statements to Congress about communications with Russian officials. Then, Democratic Senators Patrick Leahy and Al Franken sent a letter to Comey demanding the Bureau investigate Sessions for lying to Congress. At the time the probe was open, Sessions already had recused himself from the Russia investigation, leading Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein to appoint Robert Mueller as a special counsel into Russia collusion. Meanwhile, the task force releasing documents on another covert operation the FBI ran, codenamed Round River. It was set up to discredit corruption allegations against the Biden family as Russian disinformation. The secret venture began around December of 2019 during President Trump's first impeachment on charges of an inappropriate phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Joining me now is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Congressman Jim Jordan. Thank you so much, Congressman, for being here. And I want to talk about this FBI investigation, March Toll, because the timing is not coincidental. And we are just learning about some of these details. So President Trump is trying to fix things within the FBI because they're going after him on unsubstantiated reports. And so he fires James Comey. Then the next day, they go after Jeff Sessions because the Democrats couldn't leave the breakdown of the institution right where it was. They had to try to further it even more.
Yeah, and remember, even before that, when this all got started, was the Clinton campaign hiring the law firm Perkins Coie, who hired the public relations firm Fusion GPS, who hired the foreigner Christopher Steele, who wrote the bogus document called the dossier that Comey takes. He knows it's bogus. He takes it to the secret court, the FISA court, to get a warrant to go spy on President Trump's campaign. That happened, and then when people start digging into that and figuring something out, then it's on to this next thing. He fires Comey, and they go after Jeff Sessions, and then, as you point out, they launched this operation a few years later when a number of us are starting to dig into Joe Biden and all the crazy things that went on there with Ukraine and Burisma and his son Hunter Biden, and they run an operation against members of Congress and other people affiliated with or associated with the Trump campaign and the Trump administration.
Right.
That's how ridiculous it was. Running ops against the government. The FBI was doing this.
Yeah, and on the Biden side, of course, it was Russian disinformation. Nobody wanted to pursue that narrative or look into any of the details. But when it came to President Trump, you needed a special counsel investigation where we did get more detail, which was helpful. But when you learn little pieces of the timeline like this, you see just how bad it was.
Yeah, remember, so the Clinton campaign does that. Comey uses that ridiculous document to go spy on President Trump's campaign. 4 years later, they run an operation against members of Congress and members of President Trump's administration to try to help Biden win. So it was always designed to hurt President Trump and help his opponent win. It was designed to help Clinton win in 16, Biden win in 24, and then, frankly, you could say, or in 20, and then in 24, you could say, well, Jack Smith was designed to help Biden or Kamala Harris win and President Trump lose in 24. So they ran operations each and every time President Trump was running for office.
Even as you uncover all of this detail, there are some advisors, like White House advisor Peter Navarro, who says you haven't done enough to investigate some of this weaponization. What is your rebuttal to that?
We've done everything we can. We've referred people for prosecution.
What do you guys think should happen to these guys like Adam Schiff, Hillary Clinton, Jack Smith? Comment below, guys.
We referred John Brennan because we know he lied to us. We referred him 8 months ago to the Justice Department. We just recently referred Jack Smith because he lied to us. He said he only got the records, the phone records of members of Congress. He said he did not get contents of members' communications. And then we find out, oh, he went to the National Archives and got text messages between members of President Trump's administration and members of Congress. And he had that information and didn't tell us that when we deposed him. So he lied to us. We referred him. And we've also referred Thomas Wyndham, one of his deputies, for prosecution as well, because he tried to obstruct our investigation into this whole operation that they're running against President Trump as the special counsel.
And we're heading into the midterms, very crucial for the party. Americans are looking at gas prices over $4 a gallon. The president is still deciding how he's going to handle the Iran war and where it goes from here. The DSA is hanging on to this idea of affordability. They keep driving it home. They're winning some of their races. Some people say we actually shouldn't be wasting time looking into what happened in the past, but we should be focused on moving forward. Others say you need to do a little bit of both to balance everything out because the past is important for the future. But your thoughts on where the Republicans stand for the midterms on the messaging around affordability and trying to win some of the key races?
Well, I always say we make this job way too complicated. It's pretty basic. What did you tell the voters you were going to do when you ran for the office? If you win, go do what you said. I think we've done that. We said we would secure the border with the help of President Trump and, of course, his great work. We've done that. We said we would cut taxes. We did that. The economy is moving in a pretty good direction, but I understand there are costs out there that are tough on middle class and working class families. We're working on that. But I do think that when you step back and look at the midterms, the real takeaway, I think, is going to be all the crazy positions the left, which now controls their party, all the crazy positions they're taking. I mean, it's crazy to defund the police. It's crazy to say you want to abolish ICE. It's crazy to say men should compete against women in sports. It's crazy to shut down the government twice in one Congress is what the Democrats did. It's crazy to have this sanctuary jurisdiction policy where politicians tell local law enforcement not to work with federal law enforcement when it comes to enforcing federal law. Dumbest thing I've ever heard. So all these crazy positions, not to mention the DSA candidates who said they don't like Thanksgiving, don't like football, and don't like fireworks, for goodness sake. So I think we need to show that contrast and remind voters we are working on the affordability issue while we have done what we said we would do when they elected us in 2024, namely securing the border and making sure their taxes are low.
Yeah, and the Democrat Party gave the reins away to some of these people who are just going to the far left fringes and extreme. But then there are people like AOC who have been smarter about it. Now she's laughing off woke one because she might want to run for president and she realizes there's not a national platform for that for her.
Yeah, what do you guys think about AOC running for president? Would you vote for AOC? Comment below.
Yeah, there's not a national platform for not liking Thanksgiving and not liking football, for goodness sake. Next they're going to tell us they don't like apple pie and ice cream, which go together like football and Thanksgiving. So yeah, they can try to dismiss it, but the American people are sharp. The American people have common sense, and I think they see common sense versus the crazy on the Democrat left. And I think they're going to vote for common sense this November, and we will keep the majority and keep moving in the right direction.
Whoa, so that's actually pretty crazy, guys. Now, President Trump just came out to address the nation. Let's listen in.
We have the highest stock market in the history of our country by far, every single month. That's another thing you should camp. You know, they like to demean that. The Democrats, well, that doesn't mean anything. That's just, no. That means jobs, and it means 401ks.
I actually did listen to President Trump, and I did start investing in the stock market. And over the past year, my investments are up over $90,000. If you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, very beginner-friendly, step-by-step and easy, you can go to theFinanceZone.org, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can just scan this QR code and get started in a couple of minutes. Even one of you guys messaged me saying that your investments are up over $13,000 after after taking the program. And right now, we have a 90% off sale that ends today, up to $1,000 in bonus stocks inside the program. I go over which stocks that Trump has, which stocks that I'm buying, how to set up an account for the very first time, and I also go into depth about how to take advantage of this time we're in while Trump is still president. It's not too late. Jim Jordan, you know, he's not really holding back at all, and the fact of the matter is he's coming out to really say that, hey, Donald Trump's doing exactly what he wants to do, and he even went on the Dana Bash show to expose to CNN about all of this stuff that Trump's doing. Take a listen, guys.
Here with me now is the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Republican Congressman Jim Jordan of Ohio. Thank you so much for being here. So President Trump making clear from his point of view, the Anti-weaponization Fund is not dead. You and others have said that you believe it is. So you're the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee. Is it dead or is it not?
Well, Todd Blanche under oath said it was dead. Todd Blanche needs to be confirmed. I've been in Congress now 19 years. I've never had an attorney general that I could work with like Todd Blanche. I think he's doing an outstanding job. And even Senator Tillis and Senator Cornyn have said he's highly qualified. So they should confirm this guy because he's doing it out, bringing down crime, going after the fraudsters who've been ripping off American tax dollars. Todd's doing a great job. He needs to be confirmed. Let's hope it happens soon. You're
right that these two senators are saying that this is unfortunate that this is happening to Todd Blanche because it's about this weaponization fund and the IRS settlement. But on the weaponization fund, are you saying that the president is not accurate, or he's not telling the truth when he said just this weekend that?
Well, I think what he said, Dana, was in the. I think what he said was in the context of if they're not going to confirm Todd Blanche, then he's going to pull it back and then he's going to renominate Todd Blanche after the election. I think he said that. Okay, if that's what the president wants to do, that's fine. What I want to get is Todd Blanche confirmed because he's doing a good job. I mean, Todd Blanche he was a defense lawyer. Before that, he was a prosecutor. He's a working lawyer. He's doing an outstanding job. And the idea that they won't confirm him and they voted to confirm Merrick Garland, the guy who gave us the memo that said, oh, we're going to go spy on parents at school board meetings, the guy who gave us his Justice Department did the memorandum and said if you're a pro-life Catholic, you're an extremist. They confirmed that guy, but they won't confirm Todd Blanche.
What do you think about
that? Makes no sense.
Do you think the fund is a good idea?
Well, it's no different than what Merrick Garland did with Peter Strzok and Lisa Page. He paid Peter Strzok $1.2 million.
So yes, you think that it should stay alive?
The same. I'm saying there's a fund right now that compensates people who've been wrong.
Well, to add $1.8 billion
Peter Strzok got $1.2 million, for goodness sake. But that fund is for people like Mark Houck, who had his door kicked in front of his wife and 7 kids, was taken to court, taken to trial. His lawyer said, we'll show up, we'll meet you wherever. No. They kicked in his door during the Garland and Biden administration, and they took him to court. And, of course, the jury found him not guilty. It's for folks like that. That's what that fund's for.
Okay, so
it's been used in the past to compensate Peter Strzok and Lisa Page got $800,000 for goodness sake.
Mr. Chairman, you are right that this fund exists, and this is a question of putting more money into it. But on that note, just kind of looking ahead to who could or should be eligible for the fund, I want to play something that the Interior Secretary Doug Burgum told me about the reflecting pool. Let's watch.
It didn't peel off. There was vandalism. There was box cutters. There have been 7 arrests. There was people literally trying to destroy part of a monument.
And you're 100% sure that what happened with the liner was vandalism. You can prove it.
Oh yeah, absolutely can. And as we drain it, we've got all the photographs.
As you well know, the U.S. Attorney here in D.C., Jeanine Pirro, says that vandalism did not damage the pool, but it was a hasty and botched contract renovation that did. They dropped their case, a criminal case that they had against a former Olympian, David Hearn. Given what he's gone through, should he be eligible for money from the Anti-weaponization Fund?
Well, that'd be up to the board. I mean, if this thing is formed, remember, that's up to, I don't make the decision. It's up to them. What I do know is Peter Strzok shouldn't have got $1.2 million.
So you have an opinion on that?
President Trump's election campaign.
You have an opinion that he shouldn't have got it. What about David Hearn?
Well, that'll be up to the board. And I don't know all the facts. This story just broke. I don't know all the facts. Why they did? Why the Justice Department dropped the case? Why the Department of Interior said that there was something there? I'd have to go look at all that. We'd have to look. What I do know is President Trump is focused on making America great and focused on making Washington beautiful again. And he's been focused on that. We'll have to get to the facts of the case. I just don't know.
They were one of the facts now, and this is based on what the president's own U.S. attorney, Jeanine Pirro, who I know you know well, she used to be on Fox, said in a court document. The ramifications of it was that they were trying to send a man who was innocent to jail based on lies about vandalism. He was accused of crimes that he did not commit.
What do you guys think about that with the reflecting pool?
As chair of the Judiciary Committee, does that bother you?
If those are the facts, of course, but I don't know that those are the facts. We have not seen all that evidence. What I do know is what I talked about Mark Houck. What I do know what happened in the Garland-Biden Justice Department is FBI whistleblowers that came to us.
I'm asking you about
No, I'm not turning back. I'm telling you things I know about. I don't know all the facts with this case, but with those cases I do.
Once you learn all the facts,
and when FBI whistleblowers were retaliated against, that was wrong. That's what this fund is for.
Okay, I am interested. I do want to talk to you again once you get all the facts, because this seems like if you want the weaponization fund, seems like weaponization against somebody. Never mind that he was an Olympian for the United States. Before I let you go, last week you sent a criminal referral to the Justice Department for former special counsel Jack Smith for making what you allege to be false statements during a congressional deposition last year. Todd Blanche was President Trump's defense attorney during that Smith investigation. Should he recuse himself, even as acting attorney general, from any prosecutorial decisions involving Smith?
No, of course not.
Why?
Of course not. He just follow the facts. He should keep doing the great work because he's the Attorney General of the United States.
But he was the president's personal attorney for this case.
Well, that has nothing to do with it. Jack Smith is supposed to tell us the truth. We ask him, did you get the contents of any communications of United States members of the United States Congress? And he said, no, he didn't, when in fact he did. I mean, did Jack Smith not know? Was he that ridiculous? I mean, he's supposed to be the smartest guy in the world. He's supposed to be as smart as Anthony Fauci, for goodness sake. He did not know that? You can't sit under oath and tell us you did not get the contents of communications of members of Congress when, in fact, you did. That's pretty...
Whoa, that's crazy, guys. Jim Jordan, he's mad.
Clear. So if Todd wants, if the Justice Department wants to prosecute him, that's up to them. He should not recuse himself.
Okay, we're out of time, but I just want to say that what Smith says and what Jamie Raskin, your counterpart, has said in a statement is not that he didn't tell you the truth, that you guys didn't ask him the right question. That you didn't ask him the right question.
Come on. We say at the start of every deposition, you have an obligation to give us the full truth. You can't give us part of the truth.
But you
got to give us all the facts, and he did not do that. And you're trying. I mean, that is first of all, he went and got her phone records.
I'm just saying what he said.
Then we were asking him.
Okay.
He got the contents of communications. He did not filter that out. That is a violation of the Constitution. Speech or debate clause, clear as day.
Okay. Jamie Raskin says that the question was not followed up on.
The Democrats are going to say that.
I wasn't there. You guys were there. So listen, I appreciate you being here today. Thank you so much. And again, come back after you get more information about the case with the reflecting pool.
Oh my goodness, Dana Bash. She is not holding back on Jim Jordan, but I think Jim Jordan handled that pretty well, under pressure. I think, honestly, that Jim Jordan does do a pretty good job with just responding in difficult scenarios, because I don't know about you, but I would not be doing very well with, all of those questions from that CNN reporter, right? And it's like, there's so much going on with Fauci right now. Jim Jordan is talking about it. And he's also talking about a lot of other stuff as well, right? So let's listen in, guys.
But when we see them lying to us or obstructing our investigation, we'll refer. And we don't do that very often. I get criticized for those three, but we've done 150 depositions in the last 3 years. Our committee has. We've only referred those three people. So the facts have to be there. But when they are, we will refer them. And it's one of the questions I get more than any other questions I travel around the country. They go, Jordan, when is someone going to jail? And look, I explained the same thing I just said there. But, yeah, we're trying to hold people accountable as best we can.
Congressman, I also want to bring you to, Chairman, I should say, Joe Biden had a ghostwriter, and he recorded everything. Not only does he admit he had classified material with his ghostwriter, you see how he is failing in 2017. He fought to not get these tapes released. Listen to a chunk. Watch. I mean, listen.
I had the team that said, including the two guys who I think were with me, were the guy at Princeton now, the economist, good guy, was our chief economic advisor, not Kaufman, I think of his name, and the guy back out of the University of Chicago, with a funny name, I'll think of it.
Goolsby is one. Yeah, Goolsby is in Chicago.
And the other guy's at Princeton.
Yeah.
I should write the name down so I don't keep forgetting.
What a mess. That's 2017. He had a phony election run where he stayed in his basement, and then he was president for 4 years. I mean, this is unbelievable, this deception.
And the left told us... Yeah, and the left told us he was just fine for the whole time. I mean, come on. So, yeah, I think that the key takeaway is, first of all, remember, Joe Biden he broke the law. He had 8 million reasons to break the law because that was the advance he got for his book. He wasn't president when he took that classified information. So there's now the ridiculous treatment they gave President Trump. The one guy who can declassify things is the president, and yet Jack Smith went after the president, but no one went after Joe Biden. And finally, the last thing I would say is, because we pushed and pushed to get these tapes released, Robert Hur was actually right. Joe Biden broke the law. Everyone knew it. But he was going to come across as a sympathetic old man who couldn't remember anything. And I think his takeaway was probably accurate. But the big takeaway for me is how Jack Smith went after President Trump, the president who has the ability to declassify things. They went after him. And, of course, nothing happened to Joe Biden.
And every Democrat that attacked Robert Hur, I remember those hearings, and they said it was political and he was partisan. Nothing to do with that. He was calling it as he saw it. Right. And then he went back. Guess what? We had another year with Joe Biden as president after Robert Hur made those conclusions, and we had 4 years after he wrote that book. Chairman Jim Jordan, thanks so much, sir. Always appreciate having you on.
Wow, that's crazy, guys. So Jim Jordan, he's not holding back at all. He's really exposing the truth big time, guys. And, he really also exposed Adam Shifty Schiff as well. Take a listen, guys.
I would like clarification from the chairman. Does this mean that there is no correspondence from you to the White House seeking accommodation on this material?
We've had all kinds of correspondence with the White House on this broad subject relative to the Zwanitzer and the letter we got 2 days ago. We've not corresponded with the White House yet.
And
we will, we may. That's a decision we'll make.
And you have not corresponded with the White House seeking accommodation ever since the author who you are subpoenaing and seeking to hold in contempt articulated the view that there was executive interest and potential privilege over this material. You haven't sought to engage over the weeks since you received that communication?
We have not engaged with the White House since the letter on the 25th of this month, 2 days ago.
And prior to that time, did you engage the White House in an effort to obtain these materials?
All kinds of engagements with our counsel and counsel, both
I'm talking about
the Justice Department and White House with our counsel over the last several months relative to the special counsel
this subpoena, Mr. Chairman. Did you engage with the White House at any time in the last several weeks since issuing this subpoena, the one you want to hold this witness in contempt for? Did you ever engage with the White House in an effort to accommodate, an effort to reach an agreement, an effort to prevent this from having to be litigated? Did you ever write any correspondence, make any call to the White House seeking to engage, seeking to get these materials that you're seeking from the author instead from the White House? Did you ever do that, Mr. Chairman?
We're seeking documents from a private individual who I might add tried to destroy the evidence.
I guess the question is, I guess the answer is no.
Since 2 days ago. The answer is no. The answer is since 2 days ago, I have not.
I'm not asking the question about since 2 days ago, although nothing prevented
That's when they first raised the concern.
Nothing prevented you from writing a letter within the last 2 days or reaching out to the White House before this.
Now you want me to be clairvoyant and read the White House's mind and write a letter before they tell us something?
Nothing prevented you from seeking these materials from the White House.
California is known
for months, Mr. Chairman. For months.
I'm not a mind reader.
I thank you for making a very clean record for any court that will look at this. That you never sought an accommodation
months ago the White House could have raised the concern, and they didn't.
To obtain these documents. because your first move, of course, is to go right to contempt. Ironically, of course, for a chairman who was in contempt of his own subpoena.
Point of order, Mr. Chairman.
We're still waiting for you to testify and meet the obligations of your own subpoena, Mr. Chairman. But nevertheless, I appreciate you're making such a clean record for any court in this case that you have never sought an accommodation, never written to the White House, never called the White House, never had a communication with the White House in order to obtain these materials as part of an accommodation. Thank you for that very clean record for the court.
Now, take a listen to President Trump.
The United States, as you probably have heard, is doing better than it has ever done in terms of business and investment. The stock market has hit a new high, as you know, and that's for many, many days out of our fairly short 8 months. And we seem to be hitting new highs, and I think we're going to do much better even as time goes by. Jobs are at a record, and most importantly, we have more than $17 trillion. $17 trillion, and this is during an 8-month period being invested in the country, which is not only a record, but if you compare $17 trillion to
all that money coming in. And I actually did listen to President Trump, and I did start investing in the stock market. And over the past year, my investments are up over $90,000. If you want to learn how to invest in the stock market, very beginner friendly, step-by-step and easy, you can go to theFinanceZone.org, or if you're watching this on your TV, you can just scan this QR code and get started in a couple of minutes. Even one of you guys messaged me saying that your investments are up over $13,000 after taking the program. And right now, we have a 90% off sale that ends today, up to $1,000 in bonus stocks inside the program. I go over which stocks that Trump has, which stocks that I'm buying, how to set up an account for the very first time, and I also go into depth about how to take advantage of this time we're in while Trump is still president. It's not too late.